Hello everyone, welcome to our positive performance framework today. We're going to dive in about how we can help organisations be more modern in supporting their colleagues and actually their career journey, how you manage them, how you support them and look after them. So who are we? Inspiring Cultures Limited, so ICL. We focus on 5 pillars of cultural transformation. The two on the left-hand side, facilitation and mediation, we help colleagues be trained to nip issues in the bud and really support that to make colleagues flourish. Have a look at our other webinars to see how to become a mediator. Leadership and coaching, we've got webinars on there as well around our ILM programs and also how we support colleagues on their journey to be the best they can be. And there's lots of data on there to show why qualifications are so important. The last one which we're looking at today is modernising HR policies. We have another beautiful webinar as well around our positive dialogue framework, removing those old-fashioned grievance bullying harassment policies and bringing a more modern approach. So today, why change your current role profiles, onboarding, appraisal process? Let's have a look why. So these stats, I think, talk for themselves. So 98% of colleagues don't like appraisals. They find them unnecessary. And that's line managers as well. So you're putting all that heartache for the 4 months towards the end of the year, trying to scrap around to get evidence. And then the quality of it's out of date. It ruins relationships, trust. And then we see grievance come off the back of it. So it's actually just hurting the business. 88% of employees believe that their company doesn't do a great job when it comes to onboarding. 88% of those people are going to go and tell other people, go and find a job elsewhere. 17% of employees leave their new job between the first week and the third month of a new job. All that work, all that money, all that time, all that energy by not having just a very good way of supporting colleagues when they join. From our perspective, we look at everything we do as what's called a win-win approach. We like to follow the philosophy of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And you'll see today and also our webinars and the work we do, it flows throughout. So the Positive Performance Framework follows ACAS guidelines. It also complies with UK law. What we look at through the framework is prevention. So actually, how can we make it a more modern framework? We look at cure, about how do we nip issues in the bud or how do we support colleagues on their journey within their career of working for you. And then the last one here is we redistribute accountability and actually make people, take ownership of their roles. So where we see leaders taking accountability of their roles, rather than if there's an issue subcontracted to HR, which is not HR's function. They're there to create strategic approach, coaching and advice. So what's the benefits of changing to a modern performance framework? Well, let's have a look why. On average, conflict is reduced by 25%. Organisations with strong onboarding processes increases new hire retention by 82% and improve productivity by 70%. Wouldn't we all want that in our organisations? Employees who attend a structured orientation programme are 69% more likely to remain in that company for at least 3 years. That's what we're looking at now. We have to get used to now. Actually, we've got more of a transient population through from Gen Z, etc., that actually will probably stay in an organisation 0 to 3 years. But imagine if you did some good work. You could get in there 4 years, 5 years, etc. That's what we're looking at today. The benefits of changing. So we've seen the statistics already, but let's have a look at the benefits. Better colleague engagement, earlier resolution around conflict, better well-being, greater inclusivity, retaining those colleagues and then recruitment. People look at organisations now around their culture, not just always about pay and benefits. Better productivity, greater cost savings because we've got people aligned, better colleague development, and then we've got greater job satisfaction. Now, before we start any of these, what we call larger programs, some organisations say, Steve, I really like with what you want to do, but we're just not sure yet. Are we ready, etc. So we do what's called a 360-degree needs analysis. We lift the car bonnet, have a look at your engine, work with stakeholders. What data points have you got at the moment? We do surveys and forums with colleagues to really get their qualitative feedback. We then design the program for yourself, and then we deploy the strategy and the framework. You have a choice at the end of the day. Once we've done that, you can take it, which 9 times out of 10 our clients do. Or if you choose not to, that's great. We shake hands and we walk away and we wish you all the very best. This process can take, depends on the size of the organisation, 3, 5 to 7 days. So let's have a look at the framework in a flow chart format. Now this is pick and mix. However, we would say if you really want to really get that cultural transformation, you've got to start at the beginning, which is role profiles. Are they aligned? Recruitment. Have we got the right recruitment questions? It's mutually beneficial for the colleague and for yourselves. How are we onboarding? How are we measuring and supporting colleagues at work? And then how are we developing their career progress and their satisfaction within role? And what we talk about here isn't about promotion all the time. It's about those colleagues that are really good performers. How do we keep those engaged? So what we see, first of all, is role profiles. They're not always aligned to the vision or values of the organisation. So they're non-cognizant. We look at values and behaviours that you require, that you really need to move that organisation forward. What we found here, by getting these role profiles right, colleagues really align to the organisation, and organisations that get visions and values right, the statistics proves are usually 30 or 40% more productive. So if we look at recruitment, we've got the role profiles right, people can understand. We then work through that recruitment process with you to make it mutually beneficial. We get rid of those old-fashioned questions that kind of ruin the relationship with the colleague and make them sweat and things like that. We give the colleagues the questions there before. We align them to values and behaviours and say, you're a trusted organisation, I'm going to treat you as an adult. What we also do is support organisations with their DISC profiling. So here we get the colleagues to complete a DISC profile before. We then tailor questions, etc., to bring out those strengths and also those opportunity areas. So once we've recruited those colleagues, we want to onboard them brilliantly. Now, what we call is pre-joining. How do we make that colleague feel special before joining us? Those welcome packs, those welcome engagements, where to go, these are the kind of details, etc. Once they're with us, do we have a good 100-day plan to really support them? Where do they need to go? What do they need to do, etc.? We see so many organisations say their plan is, well, here's our workbook, which usually starts with, this is our grievance procedure, these are our things if you've got problems. Whereas actually what we're looking at here is really enhance their skill set and development, and we immerse them into the organisation. And then the last bit here was we would buddy them up with someone actually that's gone through it recently as a mentor to show what they learned, the things that they've taken and developed, rather than somebody that's been at the organisation for many, many years. We bring in that person. So it just keeps that kind of freshness going through the organisation. Colleague performance. So yet again, you're going to hear me say about aligning to the vision and values of the organisation. Does it flow through? Is it cognizant? We're going to get rid of appraisals and go back to more regular reviews. Gen X, Y, and Z colleagues want regular reviews, where we've seen too many organisations go to half yearly and end of year, and they're scrapping around for information. As we said, 98% of people currently just can't stand appraisals. So we're going to get rid of those and bring in a more modern, fresher way that we keep coaching and developing on track. We also look at your reward program to make sure it's fair and aligned to your organisation. And actually, can it be different? It's not all about pay, but is there time off, vouchers, benefits, etc.? We would have a good look at that with you to see what's available. And the last one here, if we get all of these things right, we get people stay with us for a long time. We get greater colleague engagement. And they say, do you know what? I trust you as an organisation. I want to be here longer. And I want to give you that extra time. Even though you're not paying me, I want to be there for you. We increase capability. Skill sets that people have got today are not going to be current in 6 months or a year's time. So we want to keep people innovating and developing their skill sets, even if they don't want to go up the career ladder, but we can broaden their experience with you. And then the last thing here, have a look at one of our other webinars around ILM programs and career progression. We really want to develop colleagues that will stay with you a long time. They get qualifications. They see that you're taking their development seriously. As you can see today, I'm extremely passionate around our positive performance framework. We look forward to hearing from you, so please reach out at inquiries@inspiringcultureslimited.com or give us a ring. We've got colleagues waiting on 0208 058 5582. From my perspective, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to our webinar. Have a look at all our other webinars that we have to really help your organisation through a cultural transformation. A big thank you from me today. So Stephen Adams, Director of Inspiring Cultures Limited, and I wish you the very, very best and success on your journey within your organisations to make them flourish. Thank you.